Remember that first real job you landed after graduation? You walked in on day one like a freshly polished superhero, armed with motivational quotes, group project confidence, and a degree that cost more than your car. You thought the office would run on fairness, effort, and clear rules. But by week two, reality hit like a cold Monday morning. Suddenly you're watching the dude who shares memes with the manager get better assignments. The quiet genius in the corner gets ignored, while the loud guy who repeats the same idea 3 times is treated like a visionary. It's the moment you realize nobody handed you the actual rule book. And it feels a bit like showing up to an NFL game with a soccer ball. Same field, completely different sport. So here's the real question. Why does this happen? Did school sugarcoat everything? Or was that lie actually intentional, and maybe even necessary? The short answer is, it was intentional. And to understand why, we need to talk about something nobody warned us about: the glass floor. Not a ceiling that limits how high you can go. No, that would be too obvious. What school actually built for you was a moral safety net under your feet. A set of invisible expectations. Be honest. Be respectful. Work hard. Don't screw people over. You don't notice it when life feels steady. But the moment the real world hits you with layoffs, favoritism, pointless meetings, or managers who communicate exclusively through passive-aggressive emails, that's when the glass floor catches you. It keeps you from tumbling straight into that dark basement where everything feels rigged, corrupt, and pointless. Think about the whole conversation around quiet quitting. So many young adults, especially guys trying to keep up in hyper-competitive industries, grew up hearing about balance, boundaries, and mental health. Then they enter workplaces that glorify 60-hour weeks and just be grateful to be here energy. That's not laziness. That's the collision between the glass floor and the grind culture reality. The friction isn't a sign something's wrong with you. It's a sign you still have a standard to compare things against. The glass floor doesn't just explain burnout. It explains all of our reactions to chaos. Specifically, look at AI. Every time a new tool drops, the first thing people ask is, okay, but how do we make sure it doesn't go full Skynet? That instinct, to demand guardrails, is exactly the glass floor at work. We don't train AI to lie or manipulate first. We start by teaching it ethics, guidelines, the digital version of "don't be a jerk." It's the same foundation school tried to build in us, even if the real world doesn't always reward those values. And here's the part most people miss. The glass floor isn't meant to protect you from reality. It's meant to keep you grounded enough so that when you finally understand how messy, political, and inconsistent adult life can be, you don't lose yourself. You don't turn into that cynical coworker who thinks every act of kindness is a trick, or that everyone's out to get him. The point of the glass floor isn't to make you naive. It's to give you a stable place to stand while you learn how the real game is played. But understanding the moral why is only half the battle. Now, we move past the theory and into the tactical guide. It's time to look at the game itself. Welcome to the part nobody teaches you. Not your professors, not your internships, not even your well-meaning parents. The unwritten rulebook of adult work life. If the glass floor gives you a compass, this is your detailed map. Every workplace has one. It's not printed. It's not acknowledged. But everyone who gets ahead knows how to play by it, or bend it. Think of this section as your survival guide. The kind of handbook you wish someone had slipped into your backpack before your first day on the job. And it starts with 3 rules: simple, sharp, and painfully true. Rule number 1: perception greater than perfection, aka, it's not what you know. In school, perfection always won. A flawless paper got the A. A perfect score made your GPA shine. But the adult world? It runs on a much messier operating system. Doing great work isn't enough anymore. You have to broadcast that great work. Not obnoxiously, not in a look at me, TikTok influencer way, but in a strategic way that ensures people actually notice what you contribute. Think about the coworker who always sends a quick summary email after every meeting. The guy who bullet points every idea he contributed, thanks everyone for their time, and tags the manager just enough to seem helpful, but not desperate. You might roll your eyes, but he's not doing it for fun. He's shaping the narrative. He's making sure the people above him see him as proactive, organized, reliable, before anyone else even gets the chance. That's the power of perception. It's not about being fake. It's about being visible. In a world where everyone is overloaded, nobody has the time or mental bandwidth to magically notice your hard work. You have to package it. You have to make it easy to see. Think of it like personal career marketing, and you're both the product and the marketing department. Perfection is quiet. Perception is loud. And in the workplace, loud wins way more often than perfect. Okay, that's rule number 1. Be visible. But visibility alone won't get you the high-level projects. For that, we need to talk about rule number 2. Rule number 2: the relationship algorithm, not nepotism, networking. We were raised on the idea that success is a meritocracy. Work hard, follow the rules, be a good person, and the system will reward you. But the truth is closer to this. Every company, every industry, every team has its own relationship algorithm, and you either learn how to plug into it or you get left buffering. Your skills? They're the raw data. Your network? That's the API that gets that data into the right places. This is why the guy who knows the senior manager from a weekend basketball league gets his portfolio reviewed faster than someone with a dozen certifications. It's why a referral from a trusted employee can send your resume straight to the front of the line, while hundreds of others drown in the applicant tracking abyss. Is it unfair? Maybe. Is it reality? Absolutely. Is it something you can learn to use? Definitely. Networking today isn't about forcing small talk at stale corporate mixers or spraying business cards like a glitchy printer. In 2025, whether you're in the US or Europe, it's way simpler and way more human. It's shooting a real DM to someone whose work you actually respect. It's offering help on a project before anyone even thinks to ask. It's being that person people naturally vent to because you feel safe to talk to. It's sharing insights just because they might help someone, not because you expect a favor back. And honestly, it's mostly about staying visible in small, consistent ways so people remember you're in the room. People trust people, not resumes. And companies rely on relationships because they reduce risk. A strong network is not cheating. It's how the world naturally organizes itself. Your job isn't to fight that system. It's to understand it well enough to move through it like someone who knows the cheat codes. We've covered perception and relationships. Now let's move to the most advanced rule, the one top performers use to change the system without staging a rebellion. This is rule number 3. Mastering corporate jujutsu. Rule number 3. Mastering corporate jujutsu. Use the system's energy. Here's where things get interesting. Think of work as a giant, slow-moving beast that doesn't want to change direction unless someone gives it a really good reason. Most people try to push against it with complaints, frustration, or vague suggestions like, "We should do things differently." But that barely makes a ripple. Corporate jujutsu is the opposite. Instead of fighting the system head-on, you use its own force, its numbers, its priorities, its obsession with efficiency to make your ideas land. You were taught, growing up, don't complain, don't cause trouble, just work hard. But in the real world, the people who make things happen aren't louder. They're smarter with their framing. Corporate jujutsu looks like this. Don't say, "This process is annoying." Say, "This process adds 12 extra hours of work per month. If we streamline it using X, we can cut that in half and save the team a full work week every quarter." Don't say, "My workload is too heavy." Say, "Based on the current deadlines, here's what I can realistically deliver. If priority A matters most, I recommend pushing B to next week." That way, we hit what leadership cares about. Don't say, "I think we should try this new idea." Say, "Here's the estimated ROI of this idea based on similar projects. Here's the risk level. And here's why it's worth running a 2-week test." This is not manipulation. It's translation. You're taking ideas that make sense to you and translating them into metrics and incentives that matter to decision makers. You're operating in the language of cause and effect, time and money, risk and reward. Once you master this, you stop being the kid with suggestions and start becoming the person leadership actually listens to. Why these 3 rules matter more than ever. Today's workplace is chaotic. Remote work, hybrid teams, AI tools, constant layoffs, burnout culture. It's a lot. But these rules give you leverage. They turn confusion into a map. They shift you from feeling powerless to feeling strategic. Because at the end of the day, the workplace isn't a test you pass. It's an ecosystem you navigate. And once you understand the unwritten rules, you stop surviving it and start shaping it. This survival guide isn't about playing dirty. It's about playing smart. It's about understanding the game well enough that you can eventually rewrite parts of it. After hearing these rules, it's easy to feel angry, like the whole system was designed to set you up for disappointment. And that's why the mindset shift in this section is the most important part. So after hearing all these hidden rules, it's easy to feel tricked, like the whole system was designed to set you up for disappointment. But here's the twist. It wasn't a setup. That glass floor you grew up with, the belief in fairness, honesty, integrity, wasn't a scam. It was training. It gave you a baseline, a compass, something solid to hold on to in a world that can feel chaotic and transactional. And now that you understand the game underneath the game, you're not supposed to throw those ideals away. You're supposed to weaponize them. This is where the Idealist Toolkit comes in. Knowing the unwritten rules doesn't mean you become a corporate shark or some Machiavellian mastermind. It means you finally get to choose your moves with intention. You can play the game without selling your soul. You can network without turning into that sleazy guy who treats every conversation like a transaction. You can stand up for yourself without stepping on everybody else, just to climb one rung higher. Your ideals don't make you weak. They keep you from becoming the type of person you used to rant about in college group chats. And the truth is, the workplace needs people like you. People who understand how the system works, but still choose to operate with integrity, clarity, and strategic kindness. So here's your assignment. Don't become cynical. Become adaptive. Learn the rules, not so you can blindly obey them, but so you can bend, redirect, and upgrade them. The goal isn't just to survive inside the system. It's to get good enough at the game that you eventually help rewrite it for the better. And that brings us to the summary of everything. Growing up, school gave you a clean blueprint of how the world should work. Real life, it's messier, louder, and doesn't hand out gold stars for good intentions. But that first shock you felt stepping into adulthood, that's proof your inner compass still works. Now you understand the unwritten rules: perception, relationships, leverage. The real question is what you'll do with them. Adapt, lead, or keep playing on beginner difficulty. And speaking of leveling up, one of today's biggest advantages is mastering AI. You don't need some overpriced subscription. Most of you just need fast, reliable tools for emails, ideas, and research. I dropped a link below where you can get shared access without the corporate markup. Think of it as your first cheat code for working smarter, not harder. So now that you see the game clearly, how will you use that knowledge?